This story begins in a geography where the wind touches the stones, the sea reaches out to the endless blue, and time leans in and whispers. Ancient Greece, the lands we read between the lines of history books, where philosophers looked to the sky, where gods walked on earth. However, the legacy these lands carry is not only marble columns, epic myths, or great wars. In the eyes of those who once lived here, gazes that spoke to the stars, in the songs sung in rituals, soul-shaking tones are hidden. Ancient Greece is more like a passage than the past, a passage that echoes beyond the visible, behind the inaudible. In the deepest moment of the night, a woman sits in the middle of an abandoned temple. Surrounded by silence, her eyes are closed. Burning herbs smoke in her hands, their scents dance in the air, and incomprehensible words spill from her lips. This is not a prophecy, it is a call left in time. This is an ancient way of speaking to the gods, of confronting another self within man. A way that has now been forgotten, even denied. The unknowns of ancient Greece are in such stories. They are hidden much deeper than historical documents, stone tablets, or philosophical texts. In the voices passing through dreams, in the secret rituals performed in the darkness of the night, and in the narratives that shape the souls of the people. This narrative will open the forgotten doors of ancient Greece for you. It will reveal the secrets that history has not written, but that time has sworn not to forget. When you say ancient Greece, the first city that comes to mind is Athens. Democracy, philosophy, theater. But what about the other side of Athens? In the narrow streets under the shadow of the Acropolis, there were offerings left at a woman's door every night. Prayers whispered in the silence of the night for goddesses whose names you have never even heard. There was an unrecorded belief system, an invisible religion passed down from generation to generation among the people. Not everything was for the gods. For some, the spirits of nature, the demons of the rivers, or the hidden consciousness inside the stones were more sacred. Every stone, every tree, every wind carried a divine touch. The stories we see only as myths today were real back then. So much so that a young girl could wake up one morning and say that she had been touched by a god in her dream, and this was taken seriously in society, because dreams were the language of the gods, and deciphering dreams was one of the most respected arts of antiquity. Dream solvers, or oneirocrites, were people who interpreted not only symbols but also the order of the universe. For them, prophecy was not about seeing the future. It was about reading the message that lay deep in existence. Greek philosophers transcended the ages with their thoughts, yes, but was the society they lived in really as rational as we think? Those who gave Socrates' death sentence said that he poisoned the minds of the youth. This shows a time when fear, not thought, ruled. People are afraid of new ideas, especially if these ideas lead to the questioning of gods, traditions, and order. Therefore, although it was a civilization that gave birth to philosophy, ancient Greece was also shaped by dogmas, social pressures, and a deep fear of the unknown. However, these fears took on different forms over time. The immortality of the soul, reincarnation, life after death. These were concepts that were discussed not only in the East but also in the Greek world. The Orphic tradition argued that the soul was not limited to the body, but came back to the world again and again in a cycle between birth and death. This tradition was protected by secret societies and taught only to those who deserved it. In secret ceremonies such as the Eleusinian Mysteries, participants would never forget what they had seen once. What they had seen is still unknown, because it was forbidden to tell about them. This prohibition was not only religious, but also part of a cosmic order. Because when some information was spoken, it lost its power and could even lead to disaster. Although women in ancient Greece appeared in the background in the official historical narrative, they had a central position in the lives of the people, and especially in spiritual practices. The Pythia, the oracle of Delphi, had more say than the king, as the sole transmitter of the will of the god Apollo. But the Pythia was not alone. In the countryside, on small islands, and in the slums of large cities, women were silently the spiritual bearers of society. They were figures who led rituals, read prayers, interpreted dreams, and even cured illnesses. The cults of the goddesses not only glorified women, but also represented their unseen power in society. One of the unknown aspects of ancient Greece was magic. In the modern age, magic is often seen as dark, superstitious, or irrational. However, at that time, magic was a natural part of life. Healing, protection, influencing. Curses written on lead tablets, defixinas, were buried in graves. It was believed that gods or underground spirits would fulfill these words. Love spells, commercial successes, neutralizing enemies. There were different techniques, materials, and words for all of them. This information was kept in minds and rituals, not in secret books passed down from generation to generation. In addition to mystical teachings, the relationship with nature was also quite deep. Mountains were the homes of the gods. Forests were the hiding places of spirits. Some trees in particular, olive, laurel, oak, were given divine meanings. Cutting down a tree was not only a physical act, but could also mean breaking a sacred order. Some stones, crystals, or animals were believed to be lucky or cursed. Nature was the purest manifestation of the sacred. Theater was not just entertainment, but a form of purification. Tragedies revived the collective traumas of the people on stage. The fall of the heroes made people question their place in the universe. In these plays organized in honor of Dionysus, the audience was not just a spectator, but a participant. The actors wearing masks would transform into the god himself. Because the stage was a bridge between reality and fantasy, these narratives would reveal the fears, desires, and questions that the people had suppressed in their subconscious. Tragedy was a ceremony of spiritual cleansing of society. What about the Greeks' view of the sky? The admiration we feel when looking at the stars even today was much more for them. The sky was a calendar, a compass, a map of the gods. Every star, every planet had a meaning. Astrology was used not only to predict the future, but also to understand a person's spiritual structure. The saying, "What is above is below," was the basis of Hermetic thought. Microcosm and macrocosm, man was a reflection of the universe, and those who knew themselves knew the universe. Ancient Greece is not only a geography, but also a mind map, and this map is still incomplete. With every new discovery, every excavation, every translated ancient text, another piece of this great unknown comes to light. However, some pieces will never be found, because they continue to live not in stones, but in people's dreams, intuitions, and rituals. Today, understanding ancient Greece is not only learning about the past, it is looking at our own inner world, shadow, and mythology. A forgotten god speaks inside each of us, silently trying to be remembered. This god sometimes appears in a dream, sometimes whispers with a melody, sometimes passes by in a dream without even saying his name. The unknowns about ancient Greece are actually the unknowns about man. And so this story is only the beginning of an endless discovery. And as always, we have come to the end of an episode where we open the doors to the unseen world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next mystery.